happening, guys? It's your main man, Matt, rocking it solo from the DFS 5-pack. It is Thursday, September 9th. We got a small 5-game slate to talk over tonight. MLB went light this evening with NFL starting. Smart move on their part. All these games start early. Like they're all within 40 minutes of each other. So I love slates like that, actually. And this one's interesting. So I'm excited to break it down for you guys. Yeah, let's get to it. All right, so pitching options, couple decent arms for a smaller slate. Marcus Strowman, never really a guy you're excited about spending, like, you know, as the spending buco bucks on. Not that he's crazy expensive, but he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate at 9,400 in a really good spot, one of the better spots, probably the best spot on the slate in Miami. Great pitcher's park against the weak Miami lineup. He's pulling a lot of ownership, and it makes a ton of sense. Right after him, you get Jose Barrios. Really good last time out. Man, not really feeling him here. He has always been better at home. He's always been much better at home than he has on the road. This year is no different. Tough ballpark for him here. Like, I think his upside is real, and the way ownership is coming out right now, like, it makes me want to like Barrios. On paper, Strowman's just in the better spot. But as we know, baseball oftentimes does not work out how we think it will. So as far as who's the better DFS pitcher, I mean, Barrios is clearly a better DFS pitcher than Strowman. Matchup's much better for Strowman. But the more I talk about it, the more I can make a tournament case for Barrios here. Knowing full well that the blow-up risk is also much more real with Barrios here than it is Strowman, just because the offense he's facing is much better. That's all it is. Going down, you got Huascar Ynoa, who I like. I'm a fan of Ynoa. I think he's a solid pitcher. Tough spot last time out in Colorado in Coors against the Rockies, and before that he faced a tough Giants lineup. Before that against the Yankees. A bit more solid and spectacular, but on this slate, I'm fine with him. I think he's a nice look in all formats. Nestor Cortez, I'm not completely buying what this dude's selling. He's a guy that he was a reliever for most of his career. Earlier this year, he was a reliever. His numbers out of relief are much better. That's no surprise, though. That's usually, what happens. As a starter, he hasn't been awful, obviously, because he's had a couple really good games in here, but his underlying metrics are not as good as like his DK game log would imply. So I'm a little bit hesitant to want to spend $8K on him in a really tough matchup against Toronto. That said, so is the field. He's getting no love, and on paper it's a bad spot, but in tournaments, on slates like this, it's all about getting different. So I don't think Cortez is crazy at all. Ranger Suarez, I think he's high on the short list in all formats. It looks like Strowman, Ynoa, and Suarez are the guys getting ownership, with a couple guys after that also pulling love. And it makes sense. I mean, Suarez, solid look, fair price point, good matchup against Colorado. Colorado's awful on the road. I dig it. He makes sense. John Means, I mean, he was so good at the beginning of the year. Fell off hard. He's been okay recently. He's another guy pulling a little bit of ownership. He's actually pulling it about the same as Suarez. Like, give me Suarez in that spot and give me the KC offense if Means is really going to get love. Senzatella, no thanks. Not interested. I like the Phillies bats here. Let's see one thing quickly. He's a little bit worse on the road, but I know he's gotten blown up a couple times. I picked on him against Miami. It's no longer in the game log, and he got shelled. Luzardo. I think you can make a real tournament case for Luzardo. Obviously, I think the Mets are the better side on paper. For me, I'm more likely to go with the Mets. Picking on Luzardo has been good to me. We know that his stuff is real, though. So on any given day, he can throw up a 30 spot like he did against the Reds. If he were getting no love, I'd be a little bit interested in going here. But as it is, I'm more enticed by the Mets bats. Speaking of which, we got Miami hosting the Mets. Strowman against Luzardo. The only case that can be made for Miami is that Strowman's getting a ton of love. He's not like an ace. He can definitely get hit. But he's also like a better real-life pitcher than DFS pitcher. So this is not really the spot I want to go with Miami. It's a small slate against a chalky pitcher. So if you play like that, I get it. Probably not where I land, however. The Mets side, though, definitely a spot I'm interested in. Luzardo pulling ownership. The Mets getting a little bit of love, but not a ton of it. I like their lineup here. Alonso, Lindor, Baez. What's up with him? Yeah, VR's been awesome. Forgot about him quickly. So where's VR at? I missed him. He's been awesome leading off for them. So I like the Mets stack a lot. Luzardo gives up power, walks guys. If he falls behind tonight, I like, the Mets could go off. Another spot I also like is Philly. Senzatella's been decent, and oftentimes, like when he's in Coors, people want to pick on him too much. But kind of the reverse happens, I think, on the road sometimes. And Philly's coming in a little bit under-owned. I think one of these games are about to go. Actually, I can't say that because they had a really big series in Milwaukee. I think they continue it here at home. They're expensive. Odubel Herrera is hard to stomach paying $5,100 for him, but no one's going to be on it. So in a stack, I like it. Galvis is affordable. Didi's affordable. Yeah, aside from Bryson Herrera and probably Real Muto. Yeah, Real Muto is really expensive. They're pretty cheap. They're affordable at least. So I like the Philly stack. Maybe not like the most exciting stack I've ever seen, but I think it's a spot where they're not getting as much love as they should. Colorado, I like them slightly more than Miami. I think that Suarez, if I were to pick who's going to get hit, pick one guy who would get blown up, Suarez or Strowman, it would obviously be Suarez. But, man, Colorado's so bad on the road. Tough loss for them yesterday. I don't know. Like, man, I will say, though, like Suarez, he got toasted by the D-backs. Not that last start, but the couple starts before that. He doesn't give up power, though, so – I don't know. Not really looking at Colorado too much here. I like them more than Miami, though. Say that. KC and Baltimore. So Baltimore pulling a ton of ownership. They're really affordable, and they've been good. Mountcastle. I assume Mullins is going to be chalky. Yeah, all these guys. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm back with you. Yeah, Baltimore really, really cheap. They're affordable all over. Hernandez. Oh, he's a pitcher. I forgot to talk over. He's like the cheapest on the board. I don't think he's crazy at all. He's pulling a little bit of ownership too, though, because every pitcher is going to pull ownership on a 5-game slate. I don't hate it, but not excited about using Carlos Hernandez here. I'm not excited about the Baltimore stack, though, either, especially with them getting love. So this is what I get in cash games. In tournaments, though, probably back away. KC, though, looks like they're not getting as much love as they should. So I'm highly interested in them. Unfortunately, I played them a couple days ago, and they weren't great. Last night, obviously, they went off. So I'm a little bit hesitant to just go right back and ride the wave. But, man, they're also affordable. I think they're in a good spot against Means. And they're not as popular because people respect the name John Means. Perez, obviously the best catcher option on the board for sure. Mondesi dual eligible. He's affordable. Whit Merrifield leading off at 5,200. They got cheap pieces all over. They make sense here for me in tournaments. I think Baltimore makes a little bit more sense in cash games. All right, Blue Jays and Yankees. We've got Barrios against Cortez. So neither pitcher getting love. Both offenses getting a little bit of love. I'm more neutral on this game. I don't love either pitcher, but I'm not excited about a popular Blue Jays stack against a kind of desperate Yankees team that wants to win badly here. Cortez in that good bullpen. I don't know. The Blue Jays are affordable. I get it. I mean, Vlad's amazing. But I like the Blue Jays more when they're more expensive and going to be under-owned. That's not the case today. They're going to be high-owned. They're not that expensive. So they're another team. I think they fit well with Baltimore and the Braves, who we'll get to in cash games. Tournaments, probably back off. And the Yankees, I think they could get to Barrios here, but I don't know. I also think Barrios could pitch well. Most likely it's something in the middle is what I'm hoping for. I probably won't use either side. Nationals and Braves final. Last but not least, excuse me. Fetty against Inoa. So I like Hinoa. He's not impervious to getting hit. I don't think you're crazy like the Nationals, who have been better than advertised. Recently people thought they were going to just fall off like the Cubs have. That has not been the case. Juan Soto's had a monster second half. Other guys have stepped up. I like them more than the Rockies or Marlins. That's about all I can say. And as far as tournament stacks go, I do like them more than the Orioles. If I were to stack one of those teams in tournaments, it'd probably be the Nationals. The Braves, however, are one of, if not the top stack on the board against Eric Fedde, who can be a little bit Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like, he has some good starts. So I'm a little bit surprised Atlanta's, the top place to go and getting a lot of love. But then again, the slate's small. No one's in that big of a crush spot. We know how good Atlanta's lineup is. They got power all over. They're expensive, so maybe that will keep down their ownership a little bit, but they're not that expensive. Freeman's pricey. D'Arnaud's not at 4K. Albies is pricey at 54. Riley's real pricey at 57. Swanson at 53. Duvall and Soler cheap. Rosario, or not cheap. Duvall is kind of pricey, actually. Soler is, I think, still... He's probably right around where he should be, maybe a little bit too inexpensive, but nothing crazy. And Rosario's pretty cheap, along with Jack Peterson. So, I don't know. Maybe that will keep their ownership down, the fact that they're so expensive. However, the pitching options are also not expensive, so it's not really going to be hard to get who you want. And I think they come in with a lot of love, paired with teams like the Blue Jays and the Orioles. And then in tournaments, give me the Mets and Phillies. I like the Mets and Phillies a lot here, and that's kind of what I'm digging. That's what I got, guys. Thanks a lot. If you want more content, more videos, go check out the DFS 5-pack. Obviously, with football starting, baseball is becoming a little bit more obsolete. The DK lobby is a little depressing tonight. So, yeah, still making these, most of the videos for the public. But for football, that is not the case. We're coming out with our members only video for the main slate either today or tomorrow. We did it for the showdown last night. So if you want that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. And thanks as always, guys. Have a great Thursday. Let's crush this MLB slate. Note that it starts a little bit early at 6:40 Eastern. Thanks again, guys.